Hey, it's Jessica with Food Foundation, and today I'm gonna make one of my favorite morning drinks, chai tea. So let's just call this chai, which means tea instead of saying tea. But what are my favorite things to add to it? Real spices. Real spices have so many health benefits and antioxidants that there's no reason to use a little powder like you would get in a tea shop. And once you try this with real spices, you're never going to go back. So this is not a traditional Indian chai, as I'm not Indian and have never been to India, but with my research, I've found some of the spices that have the same flavors, and the best thing is you can just mix and match to what you enjoy. One of the main spices is cardamom. Cardamom is a little pod, and what you want to do is break open the cardamom. I like to use a little mortar or a little pestle. Once you break it open, you'll start to release the oils and the natural resins that have the flavor. It's a little citrusy, a little minty, a little spicy, but not as much heat as ginger or pepper, and probably the flavor that you're most used to in a chai. Next, I love to add clove. Clove is probably not a traditional flavor, but it has a nice analgesic or numbing agent. I used to rub clove essential oil in my kids' gums when they would have dental pain. So it's a really nice flavor to add that kind of gives a soothing, numbing flavor or feeling in the mouth. I love to add cinnamon. Cinnamon might also not be a traditional flavor, but it is relaxing and it is nourishing and it makes us feel full. It has an effect with the body where it can help you regulate blood sugar levels, so it makes you feel really comforted and full, and you might not binge on something maybe sweeter. And then of course, fennel. Fennel is probably one of those flavors that you might not have added, but is typically in some traditional recipes, and it has a little bit of an anise or black licorice flavor, and also a cooling. So we think of the chai spices as being very warming, but fennel actually cools and helps promote digestion. Speaking of digestion, I love to add some black peppercorns. Black pepper is an excellent way to help stimulate digestion. It helps the pancreas release digestive juices. So I love to add it. Also, it brings a little bit of heat, and depending on how much heat you want, you can give it a little bruising with a pestle and really release the resins. Finally, some recipes have ginger. If you're going to use ginger, I really like to use it fresh and just take a slice or two. You don't even really need to peel it because we're going to filter the tea. Just slice it off and add it in. It will bring a nice heat and also has anti-inflammatory properties. So the way we're going to start this tea is I'm going to add 4 cups of water to the pot, and then I'm going to add 1 cup of milk. I really like the ratio where it's a little bit more water. Some people like 1 to 1, but you want to make sure that you're using a full fat milk so that it's nice and creamy. I'm going to use raw milk. I like the way that it has all of its natural enzymes, so it's not denatured as it would be if it was pasteurized, and I'm going to bring this up to a boil, so it's actually going to cook if you were worried about any of the bacteria. You could also use coconut milk if you were lactose intolerant. So I'm going to bring this tea just up to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer. I like to use a lid that has little holes in it. This way I can pour it better. I'm going to use a black Assam tea from India. I like to keep all of the spices and teas from the same region. And I'm going to add about a tablespoon of black tea. You want to think about a teaspoon per cup, depending on how strong you're going to make it. So once that's up to a simmer, I'm going to add the tea. So another fun thing about chai is you can let it simmer for as little or as long as you want. I like to let mine go at least 10 minutes just so that it really gets the full flavor. With the fat milk, you want to really get the resins into all of the creaminess. And then you're going to strain it into your favorite teacup. Make sure that you absolutely enjoy this ritual. And then to make this tea a little healthier, we don't want to add sugar. There's no reason to have excess sugar in our diet, especially in the morning. We want to try to keep it a little bit more natural. So I'm going to use a local honey. Local honeys are excellent for your immune system, to challenge your immune system with allergenic properties of plants that are in your local area. And I'm just going to add a little spoonful. You can add as much or as little as you like. I have had chai enthusiasts tell me that they absolutely needed to have sugar, but once you taste a little bit of honey in your chai, you'll never go back. It's absolutely delicious. The one final tip I have for your chai is if you want to make it frothy, like a little bit of a chai latte, this is not quite the traditional tea puller. It's at this beautiful little silver canister, but this one I think works great for me because it has a pour spout. So if you have any pot or pan with a pour spout, what you want to do is pour back and forth. You might have seen them do this in a cafe. Now, I'm not an expert, but the more you pour, you have to really trust that it's going to make it and not drip over the edge. Back and forth. This will absolutely start to froth your milk. Of course, if you have a fancy gadget, like a frother, that would work as well, but you can see I'm starting to get little bubbles in the tea. Delicious. I hope you love using real spices in your chai tea and try using honey instead of sugar. Enjoy! Thanks for watching.